Relative reference has been used a lot in Microsoft Excel, but it cannot be used to automate complex tasks in Excel. If you want to do a lot of calculation and you want to do it in just one formula to be able to make work much easier for you, so you use absolute reference and you use mixed reference. And there are times you have to mix the two together in order to be able to achieve what you want. So this is what you're going to be doing. So let's dive in and see how powerful cell referencing can be in Microsoft Excel. Stay tuned. Today we are going to be working on cell referencing in Excel. Most of the calculations that we do in Excel are usually the relative reference. But here we want to do cell referencing using absolute reference and mixed reference, and calculate the commission of each of these products and also subtract the tax from it to get the actual commission that each of the salesperson will be getting. So let's dive in. So this is how the commission is going to be calculated. The commission is going to be the revenue minus the tax amount. And to calculate tax amount, so we multiply the revenue by tax or tax by revenue, whichever way. So in order to do the first one, let's come to the first one, which is the MacBook laptop. So what we are going to be doing is, and the tax here, remember, is 5%. The tax rate is 5%. So what we are going to be doing is, first, we are going to be subtracting this revenue from the tax amount. We all know that we are subtracting this revenue from the tax amount. So we are going to be using one formula. So press equal to. So we are subtracting this 750,000 for the first salesperson. So we'll click on it, which is on row C and column C and row 7, which is C7. That is C7. If you click on it, it's going to highlight this C7. Or you can press it as well, C7. Once you press it, it's going to highlight it automatically. So, and then what we are going to be doing is that we are going to lock in only the column. That is to say that this is C7. We don't want, this is in column C, and we don't want this column, the calculation, to be moving from C to D and then to E and to F. So we are going to be locking the column. And the one way for you to lock the column is by adding $ before the C. Before the C here. So I add a $. So the dollar before the C means that we are locking the column. But the row, which is the 7, is on row 7. It can be changing, it can be moving down. That is, when we drag down, it automatically calculates the one down. So because we are only fixing the column. So this is what I just did now. So after that, and then we are subtracting it from the tax amount. So minus. So I press dash on the keyboard. So the tax amount is the what? The revenue multiplied by tax, or tax by revenue. So then we have to open a bracket to be able to calculate that as a whole. So what I will do, what we are going to do here is that we will click on this same revenue, because this is the revenue, and we are multiplying it by tax. So we are still going to lock the, it's still going to be locked. We are still going to lock the column again by adding $ before the C. But the 7 will be left like that because we want it to calculate all the rows automatically, and we are locking only the column. Remember, the columns are the A, B, C, the A, B, C, D, and the rows are the 1, 2, 3, 4 down here. So the rows are the 1, 2, 3. So then what you do is multiply by, so we are multiplying it by what? By the tax amount. So what is the tax amount? The tax is 5%. So you come here and click on what? 5%. But for this 5%, we are going to make it an absolute reference. And the absolute reference means we are locking both the rows and the column. So the rows and the column. So you come here by adding the $ before the F, because the tax amount is on the cell F3, and then we add another $ before the 3. Or alternatively, you can press F4 on your keyboard while it changes to your desired format. So this is it. And then we'll close the bracket. So after that has been done, now we have gotten how to subtract the tax from the revenue. Now we are going to be multiplying it by the commission, which is the product commission, the MacBook laptop, which is 20%. So what we are going to do is that since this is a whole, we have to enclose it in a bracket by adding a bracket here, and then go to the beginning of the formula and enclose it with a bracket. And then we'll go back to the end of the formula again, by what? Multiplying it by the percentage of each product commission. This percentage, the one for the MacBook laptop, which is 20%, the one for the iPhone, which is 12.5%, and the one for the Techno phone, which is 7.5%. So what we do is we multiply star. We are multiplying it by this first one. So we are starting from here down to this place. But in this case, once you click here, which is D5, cell D5. But in this case now, we want it to move from here and multiply by the next one, which is in the E column, and multiply by the 7.5, which is in the F column. So it's going to work automatically in just one formula. So what we are going to do is we will only lock the row and we will not lock the column. So in this case, what we do is we put the dollar before the 5. No, we put the dollar before the 5. So we are locking the row, but the column will not be locked. So to lock the row, remember the rows are the numbers that go from up to down, the 1, 2, 3. So you lock the row by pressing the dollar sign before the 5. And once you do that, and then come here to press enter. So now we have gotten the accurate answer for the MacBook laptop. So if we now drag everything down, if we drag it down, it's going to do the calculation automatically. Normally, if it's not correct, if I drag this to the front like this, it should give me the same answer as 142,500. But look at, because it's only 12.5%, which is a lesser percentage, the commission reduced. So if I still drag it further to 7.5% for the Techno phone, we can see that it reduces as well. So if we look at the formula for this first one, you would see that it's automatically multiply everything here by E5, and this 12.5% is E5. You can see this is E5, and if you come here, it's only multiplied by what? F5. It's multiplied this by F5, and that is how you calculate your commission in just one formula instead of doing it separately. So you can drag this down as well to get the remaining, and you drag this one down as well to get the remaining parts. So, and that is how you do cell referencing in Excel.